Hi and welcome to Eclipse point of sales management system. So this is how it works. If you click on any of this button, check or click on the check button, and you can enter data in there. If you don't do that, you won't be able to enter any data. Let's go for some wine. Let's enter that. About rum, maybe 5 of those. Gin, let's go for maybe about 7 of those. Alcoholic. Okay, beans, maybe a bag. Rice, maybe 2 bags. There, and that's how it works. All I just need to do now is click on total. You get the tax, subtotal, and total. If you add this together, you get that total. And here we have the receipt with the reference number, tax, subtotal, total, date, April Fool, and time. Thanks for shopping at iShop. There. So that's how to use this system. You can also reset and start all over for the next customer. It seems to be alright. Just click on total and there, and you can even exit if you want and say no if you don't want to exit. So what I'll do now is to take you guys straight into Eclipse development environment, and we'll put one of these together. So let's do that now. Hi, in this tutorial I will be developing or putting together an Eclipse tutorial of a point of sales management system. So let's start by clicking on OK. Now that Eclipse is ready, we'll go to File, New, Java Project, and let's give that a name. I'm going to call it Eclipse. Underscore POS, point of sales, and click on Finish. Now if we go in here, the package explorer, so we should be able to find our Eclipse underscore POS there. Right click on it and let's go to new, scroll right down and let's select other. Then we select window builder, and inside the window builder you should see a folder called Swing Designer. Drop it down and let's select application window. If you like, you can also select jFrame, either of those, but I'm going to set it for application window. Click on next, and let's give our product a name. I'm still going to stick to my Eclipse. Underscore point of sales. Let's just use uppercase, lowercase sales. And right there, just enter that and click on Finish. So that's my product there, or my application ready. Let's select design. That is the interface. You can see the size of this interface is not going to be enough for what I intend to do. So what I'm going to do is go straight into the code, and right here somewhere you'll find the frame size. I'm going to change that to 1370 by 700, and there. Now let's go to the design. We should have enough room to play around. Let's minimize this just for now. Now in here I'm going to have to divide this, so let's go for grid layout. Click on grid layout. Okay, and paste that on this frame. So which means in the property here I should be able to divide my grid the way I want. So I'm going to go for, let's go for 3 columns in total. 3 columns. The spacing between these columns, I'm going to make them 3 as well. The row is going to be 1 for now, and the vertical spacing, make that 3 as well, and that's all there is to it. Now for those 3 columns, I'm going to place 3 panels. Panel 1, panel 2, okay, we won't be able to see those panels, so I'm going to delete the second panel and just delete it, or maybe let's see if I can move it to in here. I have second panel, that's it, that's fine, I don't have to delete. And the third panel, I'll put that in there as well. Let's see, panel 3, let's see if that's going to work. If it doesn't work, I'll repeat the same thing. Let's come in here and click right in there. Yeah, I have 3 separate panels, that is good. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that's good, and that saves time really. So let me select all of these panels and just group it all. No, just let's add border into them so that you guys can see the 3 different panels. Let's come in here, line 1, 2, 3 there. Okay, those are my 3 panels. So if I run it, you guys will see my 3 panels right there. You see that, guys? Those are my panels. And if you notice, when I run it, it's something like deep down a little bit. So I'm going to carry out 1 or 2 changes there. Let's go back onto the code right there. I'm going to change this 100 to 0. So I want it to start at coordinate 0 by 0 there. Okay, that's fine. So if I run it now, click on OK, it should start from there. You see that? So that's all right. Good. Okay, now the next step is to divide this up. So let's close that and come right in here. Just make sure it's selected, and let's add grid layer. Okay, in that grid layer, drop this down, drop the layer down, and change the, I'm going to change that to, let's go for 2 columns, and let's go for approximately 10 rows. Then here will be, let's make that 2 and make this 2 as well there. So in total we're talking of about 20. But what I want is, I want 20 buttons in there. So I'll start by click on a button and drop it there. So I have 1. Click and drop the next one. So I'm just going to kind of like speed that up. Okay, I've entered all of the buttons, and here are each item on those buttons. The next thing I intend to do is this very column right here. I will now change this to, yeah, let's just change it to grid layout. Okay, I'm going to select it and come in here. So that will be grid layout. Then let's, the setting, I will go for 4 columns. Let's say 1 horizontal gap, 1 row, and 1 vertical row. That is fine for me. Now that is done, the next thing I like to do is I will add as follows. And the first layer here, okay, let's select it all. I'm going to select those layers since I have 4 layers there. I will add 4 panels. Let's add 4 panels. Panel number 1 there. Now I have a panel there. Panel number 2. Okay, panel number 2 is inside the other one, but we want it right here. Okay, we want it here, really. Okay. Oh, I'm going to undo and try another method. Yeah, get rid of the second panel as well. Yeah. Okay, let me use a label. Label is a bit visible, so let's go for 4 labels. Where are the labels? There we go. Label 1, label 2, label number 3, and I have label number 4. Now you understand why I normally use label, because it's more visible. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now each of these labels will be replaced with a panel. Now let's grab one panel. Let's come in here. Where is it? Where's my panel? Right here. Grab a panel. I can even drop it right underneath here. I have a panel there, so I can delete one label. Right click and delete. There, I have another panel. Let's paste it in there. Delete another label, because that's, I can see that properly. Depend on individual, really. I could not see it, so delete. So the final one, yeah, no, that's in the wrong place. See, that's what I was talking about. Undo that, Control Z. Alright, now try it again. There. Now delete that. Good, all gone. So I have my 4 panels there. So for this panel here, yeah, this very one, let me add, I'm going to add a checkbox. Yeah, 10 checkbox, 1 checkbox. Is that a checkbox? Yeah, that is a checkbox here. So I want 2, 3. Okay, and here I'm going to enter 10 TextField, 10 of those here. 1, 2. Okay, just like that. So I'm just showing you guys what's going to happen, because I will now speed it up. So here the same thing will happen here. We have a checkbox, another checkbox, and another one here. Try that again. 1 here. Okay, and here we're going to enter another 10 of those. So I have 7 more each to go for these 3. 1, 2, and 3. So I will now officially speed it all up. Okay guys, I now have 10 components each on each of these panels. So let's increase the font size for all of them. I'm going to make the font size maybe 24. So let's try it out and see if it's going to be okay. So let's select all of these. Now come in here and change it 18 plain. Let's see that. Okay, then the other way out is to do something with these ones. Okay, alright, so I'll just modify it anyway and get back to you guys. Okay, now I've completed this modification, or the modification. Let me show you guys how it looks for now. That's how it's looking. I just need to take care of this part of it. But before then, maybe I should enter a name for this project. Let's come here to the title right there. Okay, let's enter a name for it. So that's point of sale, right, with an S. Okay, so let's run it and see. Okay, right there, that's the title. Now here, let's design this part of it. I think here we're gonna need 1, 2, 3 and 1. I think I'm gonna have to divide this into 3. Yeah. Okay, maybe first thing first, let's convert this. I think that's fine. Absolutely, yeah, that's fine. And then I need some labels there, right here, label here. There's a label on board. Okay, then I need text field. One text field here. Right. No, I want a text field. This very one. Paste that here. Then we need, let's say, 2 more of those. Let's copy. Just paste them right in there. Right in there. Paste another one. Yeah, there. Okay, let's get a text area in here. That's right here. And this text area, we're gonna have to increase the size of that. Let's take it down right there. Something about that. Then we need buttons. 1. Need another one. Let's go for 2 and another one. 3. So those are my buttons. So all I just need to do now is to enhance the appearance of all of the components on board. So for this, that will become tax, and this will become subtotal. Then we finally have a total here. Right. Okay, that's good. Now this is exit. Reset. And total. Then we need to just increase the font of everything. Maybe I'll select 1, 2 and 3 and just increase the font right here. Let's come to maybe about 18. Yeah. And let me run it and see how it looks for now. Then we can then speed it up. So that is how it's looking. So all I need to do now is just enhance all of this and just speed up the whole design of the interface and so on. Okay, let's increase the font of this one first, and we'll go for about 20. Let's go for 24 bold. Right, and let's see how it's gonna look like. And do that. Let's do it individually. Increase this a little bit more, and this, and this right here. Okay, so let's increase this once as well. 24 bold. Alright, so that is fine. Okay, let's run it again. Right there, guys. Alright, so all that we just left to do now is to start with the coding. Okay, let's get down with the coding of these exit buttons. So if I double click on it, and right there, those are the lines of code for the exit button. I suppose you guys can see it from here down here. What will happen is, if when you declare or when you create an object frame, you must make sure object private frame is right here, private jFrame frame. Okay, else you're going to end up with an error. Okay, alright, let's come right down here. All of this code, as you are aware, are generated by Eclipse. Okay, but this is the only one that I've just entered now. Okay, let's go back to the design interface. The next thing I would like to do is, you see all of these checkbox, I would like to change the enable to false. Okay, just uncheck it and that becomes false when you run the program. So I'm going to repeat the same thing for all of the checkbox and then get back to you guys. Okay, the next thing is we need to, let's enter zeros in here. So let's come down, let's see the text, we just enter 0, maybe select it all. Yeah, I think we might be able to. Okay, maybe do it individually then. Yeah, right there, 0 in there. Okay, let's see, 1 or 2. Right. Okay, now that we've entered zeros for it all, I will then right click on the form itself and let's come to add event. Right there, let's go to Windows, Windows Activate. Yeah, let's use that. Within Windows Activate, right here, let's go for TXT Apple dot, that should be dot set. Okay, let's say dot set enable equals false. Right, let's repeat the same thing for txt orange. Let's set enable as well equals false. So that we officially disable those two text boxes. Then let me just show it to you guys. You see they are now disabled. These ones are still enabled. You see that you cannot enter any data in here. So what I would do is I'll just speed up the rest and maybe center these ones as well. Okay, let's get those ones centered and speed up the rest. Come to horizontal line there. Okay, let's speed it up. Okay, I've completed these lines of code for the window activate, so all of the text box will become disabled. So let's run it and you guys see what I'm talking about. There we go. You see they are all disabled now. So the only bit that can enable it will be this checkbox. However, before this checkbox can enable this, only this button will be able to enable this checkbox. Okay, so let's exit and go back to the code. let's go back to the design and double click on this very button so that we can enter, see, the following lines of codes. So that's the one on up there actually resets the reset, and I've set the default back to 0 for all the text box. Okay, have a good look at it instead of typing it all out. I've completed that for you guys, so have a good look at it. Then the other thing is, when the reset is triggered, the whole text box becomes enable becomes false as well. You can see it all here. Now as for the checkbox, exactly the same thing. It all becomes enable becomes false, that's it, and select becomes false as well. Enable is false, select or check the text box becomes false as well. So have a look at that. That's for the reset button completed. So let me scroll up again so that you can see it. Okay, that's for the reset button there. Okay, now let's come back in here. Let's just try it out. You see this button here, what I want these buttons to achieve is when I click on any of these, it should enable this text box, and this text box, when I click on it, it should enable, sorry, this checkbox should enable this text box when it's clicked on. So for example, if I click on Apple, you see the button Apple enable this checkbox and delete whatever content is in there, and I can then enter my own content right in there. Okay, but if I then come into reset, click on that, and you see what happened. So that's how I want the rest of it to work. For us to achieve that for the rest, all we need to do is, let me come back into the design view and let's double click on this very button here. Okay, you can see the line of code in there is just one single line of code. This is it, just this very line of code. The rest code that you guys are seeing here in Eclipse is generated by Eclipse itself based on these settings. Now let me show you one other thing. Right in here, okay, you see this checkbox, right click on it and go to add event. The event that I added is action perform, and right there, that's the event for action perform that I use. So I'm just going to copy that very event, copy it, come right in here. For baking, I intend to do that for baking, so I will enable baking with this. So double click on that button, and right here let's enter chk bacon dot set enable right there equals true. So that button will enable the checkbox. So back to the system. Now we need to now make this checkbox enables this text box and delete the content in there. So double click on it or right click and select add event, action perform, and right in here I will then paste the code that I've just copied and change the names. So the name that I want is bacon. I want the bacon, so add them all. So let's speed that up now. Okay. There we go. So what happened is, if CHK beacon is selected, this becomes enabled, the content is deleted, and focus is set. Else, disable it, add 0 to it. So if I run it now, there we go. Click on beacon, you see it's enabled. Click on that and we can just add data into it. And the same thing applies to Apple. Click on Apple, click and enter whatever. Okay, the other thing is we can always reset and exit. Now that you understand how these ones work, the very first row, I'm going to just speed up the other, or maybe I should just do just one more, just the second row, then I'll speed up the rest. Now let's go into the orange. Double click on the orange right there, and here we're going to enter CHK orange dot set enable equals true. There, that's for the button. Now back into the orange checkbox, right click, select add events, action perform. So that very line of code that I've copied, so let's just say, okay, let's type it all out. All that's it right here. Instead of typing it, just change the names, paste that in there, and just change the rest to orange. Copy that, paste orange here. And that is for the second row. There, orange is taken care of. Now let's go back to the design view. Let's take care of the mate as well. Double click on that, and the mate is supposed to be CHK mate dot set enable equals true. Alright, let's deal with the checkbox for the right there. Right click, select events, add action. There. So that is for the mate. All you just need to enter is if CHK mate dot is select right there. Now come right here, enter your curly braces, then txt mate dot, that will be enabled. We want it to be true, and txt mate dot set text, we want it to be cleared, and we also need to set the focus. Txt mate dot request focus, there, that's it. So the next thing we just need to do is else. Enter the else statement. Now let me copy this first. Else, paste that and change this to enter a 0 here, and here we enter false. There. Okay, so now let's try it out. There we go. That's it, guys. So I'm now going to speed it up now that you guys get the idea. Okay, we've completed the coding for all of those checkbox and the buttons. The button is just one single line to enable the checkbox. And why the checkbox? As you guys saw earlier, it's just the matter of using an if statement, just like this. Okay, so I'm gonna run it now so that I can speed up the rest process, because it's taking some time now. That is it. So if we click, you can see we can now enable all of those checkbox right there, and you can then enable all of the text box and so on. So all that is left for us to do now is to take care of this total. Okay, so let's exit and take care of the total. Come right in here. Okay, let's get the total out of the way. Double click on the total, and before that, I think I should declare the following variable. I'm going to need a global variable here. First thing, let's minimize this. It's getting too long, or maybe you guys should see it before I minimize it. Those are the following libraries that were imported. So minimize, and right here, that's right here. Okay, I've declared the following variable there that I'll be using for my total. So let's go back into the design and double click on the total, double click on it. Okay, right in here in total, I'm going to use the following array that I declared up there. So let me show you guys the array just to remind you. Remember the array? That's the array declared. Okay, so I think that might be too much. Let's make it maybe 20. If I need more, I'll come for it. I'll just increase it. So let's go back, double click on that, and right here I'm just gonna enter item. Let's say array 0. No, equals double dot pass double there, and what I'm passing in there is going to be txt apple dot get text, this very one. So let's multiply that by, let's go for maybe the price of apple is £1.50, and enter a semicolon right there. Okay, so let's see, why do we have an error? Okay, now let's say multiply by £1.50. Okay, that's much better. All right. Okay, I'll just speed that up. Okay, I've actually speed that up now. This is how it all looks. Okay, and right down here, what I've decided to do is all of this array, I've now added them all up in here, and here, this is where I've converted it all to £, and all the values goes into tabs, subtotal, and total. Yeah. So let's give it a run and see. Let's run it. Yeah, there's no error, so that's fine. Let's select bean sprouts and just enter how many values in there. Broccoli, yeah, apple, and what about rum? Okay, let's get drunk on that. This. Alright, so let's try it out. Click on total. Okay, what might be the error? Okay, let's see. Something is not adding up. Okay, let's exit. Reset. Exit. Okay, let's check what happened. We have 20 here. Yeah, I just remember my array actually started from 0 to 20, so this one should, let's make it 22. I think that's the fault. 22 is not 20. So let's run it and see. Okay, select any of these. There. Meat, maybe 4 as well. Brussels sprouts, broccoli, orange. Right there, guys. You see how it works? So all that is left for me to do now is when I click on total, I will expect it to display the receipt as well. So reset, exit there. So let's speed up that of the receipt. So come right down here, double click on that. Okay, for the receipt, guys, these are the lines of code for the receipt. Let me show it to you up here. Okay, from here, let's just cut it so that you can see that's the receipt there. Okay, from here down, that's my receipt. Here I enable the object itself. I'm talking about the text field variable declared to generate random reference number, and here I've added date and time. That's the title or the heading for the receipt, and that's where I entered all my the tax, subtotal, and total. I didn't bother enter any of these. That will take some time, and that's all there is to it. I suppose you all enjoy it. So I'm just gonna run it now so that you guys see how it works. Run, compile, and run. Apple, let's go for maybe 9. And just enable it all so you can see how it works. Right there. So we must enter data in each if you want. The choice is yours. You don't have to enter anything. Okay, well, you don't have to select it anyway. Alright, that's it, guys. So all you just need to do is click on total, and there we go. So with that, I'm gonna call it the end of this tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoyed. So you all have a nice day now. Bye for now.